Yesterday I asked some questions on it, and today I have answers. He starts over here, U'Mercedes Biyad Hakol. And it's a thing, a certain thing, Ibi gave from like a generation, like Torah, Moshe Kibbutz, Torah Messina, Masora, Masora. Shahamokim Shabona by David Ushraim HaMizbeach, the place where David Ushraim built the Mizbeach, Begoiden Aravna, who Goiden Aravna, by Goiden Aravna. So I explained yesterday that they had to get the land in order to build a Mizbeach. So, and it was a place over there where a man by the name of Aravna had a Goiden. A Goiden is a place where when they cut down the tefua, so you have to prepare the tefua, in English called a granary, where they separate, they take out the psilas from they get the... Hu HaMokum, this is the place, Shebona by Avram HaMizbeach, that Avram built the Mizbeach. V'okad olav Yitzchak, and he bound on it, he tied Yitzchak down the shit, V'yaked, Basma Yigam Mizbeach, and V'yaked, and Hu HaMokum, Shebona by Noach, Kishiyotzu Min HaTeva. V'hu HaMizbeach, Shehikab Olav Kain V'Hevel. Uboy Hikab Odom Orishan, Korban, Kishenivra. Nachazak Zakta, Umishom Nivra. He was created from the earth that was over there. And the Rambam brings a raya. What's his raya? Amr Chacham, he doesn't give a source to this. He said, Amr Chacham said, I'll soon explain why we need a source over here. Adam mimokem kaparasa nivra. In other words, when Adam sinned, that was the same day he was created. It was the Gemara gives a whole cheshbon of hours that he was finished with being created on the 6th hour, and then 2 hours later, at the Shenk so over there he made a mizbeach. So the touch of the words mimokem kaparasa nivra means from the place that he got his kapara, he was created. That's the touch of these words. Mimokem kaparasa, the mizbeach from that place. So Kediko, Frekwan Akashav them. The state in a Sach Svarim in Zoyar and a Sach Erte state that when the Eibishter created Adam Rishon, he took earth from the whole world. So why does the Rambam say that he was created for here? It's anders, we state that the Eibishter took work from the whole world. So of them and from the Mefoshim, that's not a stira. The Eibishter took earth from the whole world. In other words, let's say I'm making a cake. I need flour to make a cake. So sometimes you want to mix the flours. So you go to a few different stores to buy flour. In this store, there's this kind of flour, this or that. And then later you have to connect it, you have to knead it. So Teretz is, the Eibishter took earth from the whole world. That's the emes. But where did he connect it? Where did he make the dough? He made it over here. This is the way he made the dough. So that's what it means over here, that it's not a stira. He was talking, and he took also earth from this place to put into it. So Meir says it's not a stira. But I just asked a question, which I thought was an interesting question. Why doesn't the Rambam stop by saying that Adam built over there and Cain Behevel built over there and then say Avram built over there? What kind of say this is? He starts with Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Okay, I understand. And then he says, and also Adam built over there and Cain Behevel built over there. So the Maisa is, I found in a tshuva from the Sam Sefer. So I brought these pages over here. have over here. Here's I didn't. I just put 3 pages. I got another page. Let me look together with you, okay? If you look over here I made a check in some cipher. He says, he's writing a tshuva here to a person, the famous brother of Ephraim Zalman Magolius. And he's writing, Umasha Kosav, Hadar Ga'ainai, Shenis Kadesh Hamokim Ayidei Odom Orisha V'nayach. He says, Lo Nimsa, Lo Nimsa, Ella, Shebonu Mizbeach, V'krivu Shom, Avo, Shekitshai Hamokim, Lo Shomanu. Rak Bavram Avinu Sha'ama Asher Ya'ama L'dairis. He has the word L'dairis because Rashi states Sha'ama L'dairis Haboim Bahar Hashem Yeroah Hamokim Yeroah. In other words, Avram was Adam and all the others up to Avram. That was the word where they, for some reason they made their kabbanas there. But who actually made it a special place? The one who made it a special place was Avram. And Rashi over here in Chumash, Rashi on the pasuk Asher Ye'oma Hayayim, so Rashi says Sheyemru Limei Hadairas Orov, that for the generation and on the pasuk Hashem Yeroah, so Rashi Pshuto Ketagumai. Pasuk Taich is read the Targum. What does the Targum say? So the Targum says, Polach Ritzoli, that means he was Mispalo, Avram Tamon, Ba'asrahu, and Avram was Mispalo that way, Va'amar, and he said, Kodem Hashem, Hocha Yahain Polchun Doraya. Here the generations will serve. B'chein Yis'ama B'yem Hadain, B'tura Hadain Avram Kodem Hashem Polach. In other words, the generation will say, they'll ask the generations, why are you coming here? You'll say because Avram came over here. So Avram was Mekadesh the place. There's an Inyan to be Mekadesh the place. Like I give them all examples that by basic quarters. That you're Mekadesh, you have to be Mekadesh. The whole Seder, how the Chav Kedusha Mekadesh. So Avram was the one who made this, the Mizbeach L'dairis. So that's why he starts with Avram and Yitzchak and Yaakov. And by the way, he says, they also did it. But when they did it, it wasn't the holy place that Avram made it into. That's number one. Now, if I found this teretz in the Sam Sefer, I mean the bought the Sam Sefer to explain it, it's mir eingefallen, l'chayre kann man sagen, bepashtus. Even if we'll say that it was holy, that they made it holy. Did we do Sam Sefer, like this Avram Magolis will sagen. So l'chayre we say, vet or the kasha, why doesn't the Rambam start with Adam? Teretz says he wants to start with a Yid. The first Yid that went over, that made kabbanas over there was Avram Avinu. And by the way, not only did Avram Avinu make kabbanas, but other people also make kabbanas. Now, he at Seichel Zachen over here, you remember yesterday we saw in the Kesef Mishnah at Seichel Pirkei the Rebbe Lazar. So I was looking, I have home with Pirkei the Rebbe Lazar. And I saw some interesting things in the Pirkei Rebbe Lazar. Here, take over here. I have over here. For this I have to wait 1 minute. The Pirkei Rebbe Lazar says over here, in the middle of the page, he talks about Avram Avinu, he talks about the aisle, and then he says, where is Did I mark it? No. Take this. What? I underlined it. What are you showing me here? Yeah, I know. No, I know. But
What you underline?
over here he says that the bris of Avram took place on Yom Kippur, because they say be'etzem hayom hazeh. And then he said, "V'chol shana v'shana, HaKadosh Baruch Hu roye dam habris shel milah shel Avram Avinu, u'mechaper al avonoseinu, shenema ki b'yom hazeh yechaper aleichem v'tayr eschem, u'ba'osei mokum shenimo." Avram's bris was by on Hara Maria. So ba'osei mokum shenimo, v'nisha dom sham, dort is nidna mizbeach. It's a gewaltige Chiddush, because when we learn the Chumash, Poshet, steht that Avram came back to Hebron, and we said Mamre, he was Ona Eshkol Mamre, and Rashi says over there, Hush Heim Shenosno Eitzah, they gave him the Eitzah. So, and over here it says that the bris took place by Hara Maria. So he wants to say over here, the Pirish, over here I marked off some things. He says over here that the bris of Avram and Yishmael took place on Hara Maria. Then Avram went back to the family because he didn't want to schlep his whole family to Hara Maria. And Kol Yigudi the Beisai were Nemo by Hebron. That's what he says over here. And what did I want to show over here? Over here he says that we're going to learn soon about the Mizbeach. We're going to learn about the Kronos HaMizbeach. Now there's a Shaila when Avram made a Mizbeach there, okay? We know that in the Beis HaMikdash there were two Mizbeachas. There was a Mizbeach HaChitzon and a Mizbeach HaPnimi. By which Mizbeach did Avram be Makdav the Korban? So they want to say that it was by the Mizbeach HaChitzon, which is the Mizbeach where you Makdav Karbonis. On the Mizbeach HaZov, they were only Makdav Titus, but not Korban. And that's why the Mizbeach had, it brings over here an interesting thing, the Mizbeach had Kronos. The Mizbeach HaZov didn't have Kronos. Only Mizbeach HaChitzon had Kronos. So he says, what's the inyan of the Kronos? He said, because the aisle state that Avram v'hine aisle acha nechaz b'zvach b'kanov. So he says, from those Kanov, they made the Kronos by the Mizbeach, and that's why you're mechaper by spitzen on the Kronos. Interesting things. So I thought that it's interesting to mention these things over here. He says that over here, okay. If you look over here in this one that I gave you, in this one here, he says that v'chipa aron al kanoisav achas bashana. So it's a Gemara also. He wants to say that everything from the aisle was used for something. So and he says. Gidov sho'ayo heim asora keneged asora nevolim shokino shohaya David menagim behem oire sho'ayo who earned most of she'eliyo made like a galto for shenema vayemu elov ish balsar v'oiza Azza b'mosnov shtei kranav sho'ayo shall small nishma kaila ahasinai He called a shayfer. The Karen Shal Yamin, who Gadol is bigger than the other one. Min asmol, but also l'tkaya, but also l'avay, the kibbutz shal Goliath. Sheneva, remember who you talk about shayfer Gadol. Okay, so. Good. Actually, there's some over here. He brings on the bottom that some want to say that it was the mizbeach hapenimi really, but he says from here is mashma that it was the mizbeach hachitzon. Over here, if you look in Ois Ayin Aleph, you see over here.
Yeah.
He says Afra Shal Ayil Hu Yisaid Shal Gabi Mizbeach HaPnimi, and he brings that from the Rabbeinu Bechaya.
Was het is zo, ik denk wel besef je eigenlijk begonnen
Ja.
is het toch voilà even like it's walking
And some say that it was in Mizbeach HaChitzon, but the Chayr, if you want to say Bechip al Kanaisa, that the Karanas have a shaykhus. This says so. How does the shaykhus from Mizbeach HaChitzon, not Mizbeach HaPnimi? Okay, I thought that it would be interesting to mention these things. Now we could start. Actually, Gimel we learned. Okay, I'll just repeat again. Midas HaMizbeach Mechuvones Habe. They're very exact. V'tzurosei Yedua Ish Me'ish, and it's we know from generation to generation. HaMizbeach Shabono B'nei HaGoyla. That was the Mizbeach that they built the second Beis Hamikdash when they came back from Golus in the times of Ezra. Ke'ein Mizbeach she'osu libonos asul. They made it similar to the Mizbeach that Yecheskel talks about it. Ve'ein l'hoisav al midasai v'lo l'grayim mimanu. You can't add or you can't take off. It has to be exactly this size. Then he says, Shlosh Nevi'im Oli More Min HaGoyla. When they came back from Golus, there were 3 Nevi'im that came along with them. I think that was Chagi, Zechariah, and Malachi. Echad Heya Lehem Al Mokum HaMizbeach. One told them where the Mokum of the Mizbeach is. Ve'echad Heya Al Midaisav. And one was Al Midaisav, on the sizes, the dimensions. Ve'echad Heya Lehem Shemakrivim Al Mizbeach Hazeh Kol HaKabonis Alpha Pish Ein Shom Bayis. It's a Gavaldik Chiddush that even if you don't have a Beis Hamikdash, in other words, the Rambam wants to say, we learned that there's a din of that before they built the Beis Hamikdash there were bombers. That this was not a bomber. That even if there's no Beis Hamikdash, if you build a mizbeach in the place, on its place, you could be makov there even if there's no house. In Chumash Shmois, the Mefarshim ask a question. We have Truma and Tetzaveh. In Truma, we talk about the Mishkan. In Truma, we talk about the Mishkan. We talk about all the things in the Mishkan: the Aron, the Menorah, the Kalim, the Mizbeach, the Kroshim, and the Yiriyas. In Tetzaveh, we talk about the binyan. We talk about the begodim of the Kohen Gadol. At the end of Tetzaveh, it talks about the Mizbeach Hazov. So the question is, why isn't that together in Truma together with other? One of the truths that the Farshim give is because he wants to let us hear this chiddush, that you don't need a mishkan to be makkah in the Beis Hamikdash. Like the Rambam says over here, that Alpha Pisha, that Allah Mizbeach Hazeh Kol HaKabonis Alpha Pisha Ein Shom Bayis. It has nothing to do with the bias. It's a separate thing. Okay, now the next halacha is a very interesting halacha, but we'll have to work with the calculation. In other words, the Mizbeach was 32 by 32, and it wasn't a straight box 32 by 32. There was a Yesod, and then there was a little piece of the Mizbeach, then there was again an indent, and then there was another piece, then there was kronos. So the sizes, 32 by 32 is on the floor, and as it goes up, it gets smaller. And this is going to explain the cheshbainis over here, how by every elevation, it gets off a little bit. And then there's also, he's saying that we know usually an amma, there's a measurement. Sometimes you measure an amma 5 tvachim, and sometimes you measure an amma 6 tvachim. And by